Right, Ledgers. Can everybody hear me? And what chart can you see? Hopefully everything's working okay. Once we have confirmation, then we'll begin. How's everybody? Hello, Harry, Raheem, Victor, Paul, Eric. Okay, good. I don't know why, right? It shit me up because the YouTube studio thing was saying my audio's not coming through. I'm like, fuck's sakes, man. I'm the last person that's good at that stuff. So, bit of a range-bound environment in Bitcoin. I think at the moment, the action's more in the alts, but I'll do my best. I'm not excited about Bitcoin, but I'll mark out my views, what I think may happen. I'll maybe spend some time on Ethereum, perhaps, FBTC, and Alto too. Okay, so before we begin, let me do the necessities. So welcome to the weekly live Bitcoin update video. Before we start, I just want to say thanks to our sponsor PrimeXBT for making this happen. You can show them some appreciation by signing up to their platform using the link in the description. If you use the code TraderSZ, you'll also get a 50% deposit bonus. Finally, just a reminder that nothing discussed today constitutes financial advice, and you should always do your own research before doing any kind of investing or trading. Okay, now that that's out the way with, let's get to the main stuff. Okay, so you all smashing the alts then, yeah? Loads of them. How many are you gonna be? So I'm gonna briefly go over last week, okay? And like I said, I'm gonna briefly go over dollar index as well. So we did it Monday actually, because Sunday I was too knackered to do it. Briefly, won't spend more than a minute or two, and then map out the plans for this week. Okay, I'm gonna start with a fresh chart. Sometimes it's range bound. The levels have become more newer levels that work better when it's a range bound environment. That wasn't apparent before, but become clearer as the week unfolds. Okay, so last week these are the same levels. I haven't touched them from 2 weeks ago. We've still got our key floor, and this was our level cap in the market, and it was down here. Price was, I said, if you want to take aggressive longs, that's fine. Invalidation is a clean break below here. It shot up, okay, hit first objective, which is a swing high. Okay, if it didn't get that as price unfolded, it got back above here. So once it clears this, that trigger is minimum Y based on invalidation. Where was our objective after that? You got this swing high and the fib extension level, and then after that, if you held, well, I was thinking of probably new highs really, but along the way I did warn that with the dollar index being how it is, be more conservative and get on the breakout, which was above here then. Okay, so that's just brief, nothing much to say on that. Okay, I think we're going into a consolidation phase at the moment. Okay, I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna quickly recap dollar index as well, what I said the last time, and why it's important, I think, going into this week especially. Now, when I spoke about the dollar index, I did say that correlation doesn't have to be there. It doesn't have to be 100%. But while it's working, I am going to be paying attention to it. Okay, and maybe that means that Bitcoin doesn't have to correct deeper. It means it could go into a range profile. Okay, which we'll get onto. So I said if we break above here, so this is all in the last stream, okay? I won't repeat how I got these levels. It's all there. I said if we break above here, probability-wise, we got a breakout, and we go towards here next. And then after that bigger picture, I've given my views that I am bearish this, okay? And invalidation will be a clean break above here. So that's what I'm still expecting the dollar index. And just to throw up this chart, okay, we do still have that inverse correlation. And while it's there, I am going to be paying attention to it. So if dollar index is breaking out, and I anticipate this to go up to here, you can see that in 1 second. Maybe if I did this to my chart, you can see it's there. It's, you know, while it's there, I am going to be paying attention to it. Okay, and so far it has been okay. It's just something on my radar to be careful. Okay, regardless, even if Bitcoin does give me a breakout, I will be trading it regardless of what the dollar index is doing. Okay, so that is just a bit of a warning thing. And so far we have gone into a range consolidation profile. Okay, so now that that's done on the way with, let's see what happens to Bitcoin now. Previously, I did speak about at what point would I say, okay, we're in for a deeper correction and possibly retest previous all-time high is if we break below here. That is the point where I'm expecting probably lower prices. Okay, probably towards here. And then accumulation for the big move up. And if we zoom out a bit, I think that would be fine, perfectly fine. You know, I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, it's gonna be prepared and it's below here. So as long as that's intact, okay, bullish to range bound environment. And if that gets taken, then probably here and then new highs. But we'll get to that when the time comes, okay? Nothing to worry about. I just put that there in case, you know, you're prepared. So what do we do now? Because we're ranging, okay, consolidating, I'm gonna have to narrow down my levels, okay, more recent levels. Whereas, you know, when it's a trending environment, it's easier because it respects the level, it breaks out. So those levels aren't really respected again unless we retest the range. So let's start out. What are we within? So the key levels to pay attention to are January high and January low. Those are the key levels. We're within that. Let's go down to the lower time frame and actually, yeah, and I'll mark at the mid range as well. That's important as well. So let's get the January mid range going. So I'm roughly drawing it, okay, but you can do it neatly yourself. So that comes in at 34,867. I'm gonna draw that out. Okay, 34,867, 867. So let's just have our levels there. Let's see how they look on the lower time frame. That's done. Now that level lines up with that mid-range lines perfectly with this key high here, which is the important key level for me. Okay, so there's two ranges we're dealing with in right now. One is the top half. Okay, we made close above, immediately deviated back above, retesting it right now. That's why I'm not too worried just yet. And then the next range is going to be here. Now within this are going to be objectives as well. We'll get onto in a minute. Okay, so as long as we're focused above here, these are the two areas I'm dealing with. So let's narrow the top half down now, okay, and see what I've got to work with. So within that, what are the key levels? One key level, so these are more smaller levels, okay, it's going to be here, which I spoke about already last week, okay, but I'm just doing it fresh. Remind everybody, it's always good. So we got that as a key day level. Let's do that in a different color. Let's do that in the dotted line so it doesn't get in the way. So that's, so on the monthly, okay, lower down, these are the levels being respected, okay. And to the upside, what is the key level? I'd say this high here, okay. So I'm narrowing the top half down further down to levels that I'm going to work with now. So the higher time frame tells me, okay, where market's capped within. The lower time frame, considering monthly, daily would be considered more of a lower time frame. So we're within here now. So that's that done. Are there any other levels? Yes, they are. So if we go forward now, the Monday's range, Monday's high played a pivotal role. So let's break that down further, breaking it down into this current week's level. So it's going to end soon now anyway, but market was capped within those levels. So the downside for this week was capped with this level here. And the upside, what was that capped by? Well, I didn't quite get there, but I'd say Monday's high in this case. The Monday's low is quite, it doesn't look that important, okay? But this level here. So I'm going to mark out this intra-week levels in a different color, so just so we know. Obviously you can do it neatly on your chart and just watch how price unfolds, watch how price respects those levels. So let's do it green. Okay, so that more or less capped the upside this week. Why? Monday's high, it deviated, it got back below it, spread lower, so this is the level they can't breach. Okay, so now we've narrowed it down, and to the downside, what could I say? Yep, so I've narrowed it down to these two key levels. Okay, so is everybody with me so far? I'm not doing much, I'm just drawing out the levels, that's it. That's all I've done. All I'm doing is drawing out the levels that I'm interested in, and then I'm going to mark out which levels I need that I'm focusing on. Okay, is everybody clear with that so far? Okay, so I can sort of see now where I'm going to deal with it now, if it breaks up or down. So say this breaks to the downside, it wouldn't be a surprise for us. Okay, all that would say to me is I'm dealing within here. Now when I'm dealing within here, what is the levels capping the downside? So let's mark that out now. So this is not a trade plan yet, this is just mapping out exactly what I need. So I always have to have these levels, okay, because otherwise where am I trading at? I don't know where I'm trading at. The mid-range, see, what I want you to notice is it may look like I've got loads of levels, but each one has its own I'll just do that in this color. Each one has its own purpose. So if we look, I mean, this was a range, so now that's narrowed down. that's the range of capping it for this month. Each time frame level has its own. For example, say monthly tells me where I am within the bigger picture, where I should be focused on. So the monthly's told me for now focus on here. If we get below here, then I'm focused within here and then there. Okay, and then the lower time frame compared to the monthly, like the daily 4 hour, tells me exactly where I'm going to be placing my trades. So having said that, let's mark out the easy plan, the breakout plan. Okay, the breakout plan suggests to me, okay, if it's going to go lower, what if this is the level that's capping it to the downside after the mid-range? Okay, this is where the deviations are happening. Okay, this was more extreme. Okay, we allow that, but so far since then, treat that as an anomaly. Say that that's not there, it's been capped. You can see it's just wicking it. Okay, so having said that, an easy downside play would be if it did break down, if it breaks below here. So this should be capping it. Okay, the deviations shouldn't breach this, but if it breaks below, it starts breaking down, then that's going to be used as resistance to push price lower, and I'll be targeting these lows here next. And the extended targets would then be, if it gets there, would be low of the month. Okay, so you're going to be prepared for both sides. How is that important? We can see it's a resistance there, deviation. Once you go back below it, resistance, pushed it lower. Acted as support here. This could have been a possible deviation level, but once it breached this level, it was a key level before we even knew the January high was in. So that's an important level. Then that's bullish, and ever since then, okay, you can see how that's capping the downside. That's a downside scenario breakout plan. The breakout plan to the upside, well, if it breaks out above here, so what's the level that's going to be capping it? So let's do the same thing now to the upside. Do I have a level here to deal with? Yes. Let's go to the daily. 1 second. Yes, this level here. So I'm going to narrow that down, mark under the daily level, because Monday's range was quite wide, and the extreme end was to the downside wasn't really retested much. So I'm going to mark out this level, and I'll do that in a dotted line, blue dotted line. Okay. So just so you can see the deviation area, just like here. So I'm just marking out the breakout plan. That's all I'm doing. Okay. With this, I am preferring the breakout plays, unless you're really good at scalping. Okay. No disrespect, but I don't think most of you are. Just saying it how it is. Okay. We focus on what's easy out there. It's dangerous. Even I'm not that great at scalping. I mean, I've got to be so picky with my scalps. So you can see that's resistance. Okay. But don't be asking me buy or sell now. Honestly, if you ask me that, I'm gonna kick you out. Okay, resistance, okay, so that's the Monday side, but more important level was this daily level here. So if it was to break out to the upside, a breakout plan, I'd wait for a breakout, hold above, and you know my entry triggers by now from previous videos. Okay, I use PrimeXBT. Okay, from there towards there, take out these highs, so just a stop run. Okay, within this range, and this is just a breakout play, by the way. Okay, from there towards there, first target, and the secondary objective would be January high. Now that would lead us to a bigger breakout now. So is this going to cap the market? I don't know. Okay, but say if it is going to bust through it, well, I'm prepared for that now. So as we can see, this area was acted as a deviation before. Okay, so this resistance level, which is a daily level, so if it breaks above here, consolidates, and then breaks out above here, then that would be the breakout play to new highs. Now, what could that be capped by? Could it be capped by Ethereum making new highs and then it caps? I don't know, and I don't care. I'm gonna go with what the market says. So I'll do the same thing I did. So say it goes up from here now. I'm not saying it is, but say if it does, whatever the high is to the low is, I'm gonna mark out targets, because I don't know what the targets could be, because we're in price discovery, aren't we? So I'll take my high to the low. It's the same concept I've been going over for a couple of weeks now, using fib extensions. It's a simple way. There's loads of ways of doing it. I'm mapping out the easy way. So one target's going to be there, 1.272, the 1.618, and the 200%. Okay, these are all going to be objectives along the way. Okay, yes, I know, but I'm not going to do the shift. You deal with how I do it. Okay, so say if this is the low, there's a good chance this could be. The more times it keeps tapping this area, the more likely it's going to break. It's as simple as that. Okay, now see, this is where, you know, there's a question somebody sent me. Okay, when do you use trend lines? Trend lines on its own, I don't have faith in them. Now there's people that can use them very well, and I bet you there's certain conditions as to when they use them. You can't just use them on their own, in my opinion. There's got to be certain conditions. Okay, so this would be right for me to use a trend line, in the sense where it lines up with my strategy anyway. Okay, so If it gets back above here, then that's my natural trigger anyway. That just so happens to be like a breakout play, doesn't it? I mean, if I was to draw a trend line here, okay, there's too much of this dotted lines going on. Let me fix this. Okay, that will just happen need to be confluence for me now. So we've got a swing failure here, right at our macro level. Okay, if it gets back above here, then that's a trend line breakout as well. But I'll be going for my trigger there. First target, obviously I'm going to play it level to level. Why? Because we're still range bound until we break out. Okay, from there towards here, take out these stops. Secondary objectives here, I can either add, or if say for example I'm long and it hits there, starts breaking down, that's my exit. That's a big level. Why? Because I know I can get back in. Rather, if it blasts through it, happy days. If it doesn't blast through it, I'll wait. Okay, the next time it breaks, the more times it taps the level, the higher the probability of a breakout. And if it holds above here this time, then that'll be my long and target, target, target. Okay, is that clear for everybody? How I'm approaching it. So the key thing is, okay, not just, oh, here's I'm entering, is the reasoning behind it. Okay, if you're an idiot and if you're looking for signals, you're gonna be asking, where do I buy? You're never gonna get anywhere in life if you don't understand why this is the case. Okay, is that understood? I have no idea if Monday's gonna be bloody. Okay, see, people that say definitely, how can you know? Nobody knows for sure, but you be prepared for it. The best you can do is prepare for it. So I'm prepared. If it breaks below here, I know probability wise where is it gonna text neck. I've identified the range I'm gonna be in. Okay, I don't know if it is. I have no idea. And like I said before, if this was trending right now, like obviously it is bigger picture bullish, I'd be long here right now. Okay, with risk below here, and I'll be targeting new highs. Why? Because we would have been trending. It was easier playing those plays along the way up for the past couple of weeks. Now we're in an environment where I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it by bringing the dollar index into it, by looking at some of the indices. Some of the indices look like they could be dropping as well. I'm not bearish on their bigger picture. I think correction. And in the past, it has been that correlation where risk off, and there's risk off in traditional markets, Bitcoin does take a hit as well. Okay, so I'm prepared for that. How? Well, I know exactly what I need, where I need to get on board. Below here, my entry trigger. From there towards there is target, and then target. Then after that, we'll deal with the situation. Okay, listen, let me finish what I gotta say before you start bringing up all these odds. Okay, you know, certain basic rules. You're all adults here. Just relax, unless you're just some weirdo. Okay. It's not hard to just listen, let someone finish talking, and then ask. Okay, is that clear? I know I sound like I'm not being a prick or anything, but it's just basic common sense, isn't it? You can't follow basic rules. But yeah, is that clear? So that's about it, really. I'm not going to waffle on about let's do this, that, the other. Above here, target, and then if it takes off, that's fine. Doesn't mean I'm going to close it there, okay? But if it rejects from here, we know why. It's a key level, okay? And then I'm prepared to get back on board above here if it follows the plan. Then to the downside, okay, I've given the reason why I'm not comfortable here. I don't like entering trades at the end of the week. That's a rule I have. Unless it's a swing trade where we're clear in violation, that's the only time, because no matter what the pullback is, I've got a level where I'm completely wrong. Okay, so that's the reason why. But okay, I don't mind missing out on this. I mean, there's loads of trades within here. A bit above that, then I'm happy. And again, it's gonna be towards there. Okay, and then towards there, and then the breakout plans if it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And to the downside, below here, I'm targeting towards here, then towards there. Now to the downside, I'm gonna mark out our key floor. Okay, we spoke about this in this level as to this being our key floor. Okay, this is, if this goes, then that's when I think. And before I even said to you, if you remember the session where initially I drew it, I go, how are tops formed? Now, I don't think the top is in. I'm not saying it is or isn't. Okay, I'm open to both. I'm not married to any bias. I trade what I see. I don't care. If you don't like me mapping out downside scenarios, then you're just here for hopium. And you're just probably going to get fucked up anyway. Even in a bull market, you probably get stopped out, whatever. That's your problem. But you can see this established a key floor. And tops usually are like this, aren't they? They're not like this. They're usually like, you know, and then the floor breaks. Okay, so let's go back now. See, a lot of abuse going out tonight, isn't it? Fucking even for my own standards, but it is what it is. Now, if I look, okay, what is that level? That level is on the daily. I'm only saying it because if probably nobody's told you this in your own life, so you need someone to tell you when to calm it down. But okay, that's that there. So that lines up with January's low. Okay, January's low. So that's the key level there. So everything lines up now. So at what point would I think there's gonna be more bloodshed? Okay, well, I'm gonna be prepared for it. It doesn't have to become to all-time low. I mean, previous all-time high. Okay, but there's levels along the way. I'm gonna mark them out. It's not brutal. It's just honesty. You know, some people think honesty is brutal. Well, that's your problem if you've never been told that before. Okay, so these two are the objectives. Play downside. Okay, yes, smash the like button. Okay, come on, it's over 297 of you. Smash like, it helps the YouTube algos. Okay, and subscribe if you haven't already. Yep, and then towards that, so just level to level playing it. Okay, if one evolves into something bigger, happy days. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And then if this gives in, then well, that's our key floor breached. So that opens the gates towards here. Within that, what our objective, we've got these two levels to work within. Okay, so again, resistance, resistance, support, support. Key SR, that's it. Support becomes resistance if it breaks to the downside. Now wick and then back up, I don't want to see that for shorting. Okay, what I would want to see is if it breaks, hold below. Bitcoin probably do one candle. Okay, and then if it establishes consolidation, then breaks, then that's when I want to enter. From there towards there as first objective, and then separate trade that would reclaim this old range. Probably look for another entry towards there, and at that point I'll start looking for massive swing longs, and by then we'll see what the dollar index is at the same time. Well, I hope this doesn't happen obviously, but I am going to be prepared for it if it does. Okay, you have to be prepared. Okay, so is that clear for Bitcoin? And that's all I've got for Bitcoin, to be honest with you. I'll go over Ethereum, FBTC as to why. I mean, FBTC is looking bullish to me, so I sort of prefer that at the moment. Okay, is that clear for everybody with Bitcoin? That's all I'm going to say for Bitcoin. That's all I've got for plan. You know exactly where I'm going to deal at, exactly what I need to see, what's the importance of each level. Okay, has its own importance. Yep. Okay, that's about it for Bitcoin. That's all I've got for now. It's just a range bound environment. There's not much, okay, but we're not always gonna have clear cut plays, loads of them. Okay, sometimes it's just gonna be like this. What you can do. So you move on to something that is moving then until this clears up. So I'm gonna quickly do Ethereum BTC and Ethereum, and we'll call it a day there. Okay. Before I do this, there's a video I did about a week or two ago on FBTC. Okay, and Ethereum. Watch that. That higher time frame view hasn't changed. Okay, I'm gonna do a brief one on this. Okay, so let's quickly go to this. Let's quickly go to the monthly. It's literally gonna take me 2 minutes to do this. Okay, but the detail one is in there. Go watch that. Okay, because I broke it down in more detail, so you don't really need me to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So let's mark out the key levels. What we're here, we breached previous month's high. As long as we hold above it, hopefully we're in. On a macro scale, okay, if I was to look at this, I personally think we're gonna go towards here. Okay. I personally think we're so risk to reward wise, that's not bad, is it? At least there, and then is it go to all-time high? We'll deal with that then. But the next key objective is going to be here. If it breaks out, this is the range high cap in the market. Okay, and I've broken that down in that video. So if you go through much of YouTube channel, you'll see that if you want better. Okay, BTC going to 600k. Fucking hell, we got another one here. Flipping heck. No, it's going to 1 million probably by the end of the week. Okay. So that's that there. So let's go to the daily now. Now this is the key thing. Now we're breaching this. See this consolidation here? That's capping this market. We've broken above it now. Okay. Now based on this chart alone, it makes me think probably Ethereum longs are better than Bitcoin longs. Okay. I think if it breaks back below here, then okay. But looking at structure wise, we've been consolidating here for a while. And we've broken out, and higher time frame, monthly, weekly suggests to me higher prices. I think we go here. Okay, so if Bitcoin can range, FUSD would probably be better along the Bitcoin as long as this holds. I'm not pissed off. I just say how it is. If someone's gonna act like a kid, I'm gonna tell you you act like a kid. You understand? Now some people take that as pissed off. Well, it's not. They just, you know, every week you come here, and when I say to somebody, let me finish this, I'll explain to you, is Bitcoin going to 100k? What the fuck, we born through the wrong hole? Like, seriously, man. So yeah, that's bullish for me. Okay, so as it stands on a bigger picture, we shouldn't come below here now. Okay, how do I enter this is the question. If I were to just trade this chart on its own merit, well, usually I like to let the new week unfold. Okay, so I'm going to mark a conservative entry. If it takes off, it takes off. Okay, but it is what it is. So if I take this high here right now, we've got this. So what I would like to see is some sort of consolidation here, quick drop. This is the key level, the previous month's high. And then it's a basic entry technique that would give me a tighter invalidation. As if I'm going for an invalidation here, that's a bit wide, okay? But if this happens, that will give me a tighter invalidation. That will be my entry. That will be my risk, because we're breaking the range high. There's cap in the market. This is the key level. That's been here. Resistance, resistance, as you can see, then towards here as next short-term objective. Once or if it breaks that, then we're on to bigger moves. And I've explained the breakout in that video, so watch that video. It's just what's next for Ethereum. It's called. It's done about 2-3 videos ago. You can't miss it. Okay, and that's about it for FBTC. I'll quickly do FUSD as well, and then we'll call it a day. So let's go on to this weekly. What's the key level? We've got this key level here. That's capping the market right now. See that there? So on the lower time frame, that level is more apparent. Okay, let's go there. You can see that high there. Okay, and it's capping the market there. So that's that. Let me do that in a different color. So let's do that in black. Let's go to the monthly, because let's see how the monthly range is capping the market here. So we'll go to the low. So let's do the same thing. January low, January high so far. Okay, and mark out the mid range. So take the high to the low. Okay, 1031.3, 1031.31. okay, not to be exact, but it is what it is. Let's do that in gray. So we know that's the mid range now. Okay, now notice how with Bitcoin we're capping the mid range is more or less capping the downside. Okay, so go to the daily, and we can see it's capping the upside. So it's nearly exactly the same thing, isn't it? Look how strong this is holding towards the upper boundary. Okay, it's really tagging that weekly level, isn't it? That's a bullish sign in my opinion. Obviously, if Bitcoin does nuke, then it's all over. Okay, then we're all fucked together. So while it lasts, let's milk it. So one range, we deal with that when the time comes. And this is again in that video. Okay, I'm just repeating it now, but up to date. Also, yes, we got 96 likes. Let's get to 100 before the stream ends. Oh yeah, let's mark out one more level, which is the all-time high. Quickly mark that out. That's gonna be objective. Okay, there. I've got bigger objectives on that stream on that video, so watch that. And I personally think it's probably gonna go a lot higher, at least 2,500. But let's see, for the reasons I've given. Okay, now we've got a key weekly level. Now we can see without this, before we even knew this was a key weekly level. Deviation back below. As soon as it deviates, come below SR. Where does it cap by? This. Okay, mid range caps it. That's a key pivotal level now. Last night we found resistance there, but it's still hogging up there. That level is still being hugged, okay, which is good. So you can see how it is a lot easier to trade this right now. I know it's called Bitcoin for Ledges video, but sometimes Ethereum for Ledges should have titled it. Okay, I am liking Ethereum a lot more, just technically speaking. Okay, so if we look, what's the level capping it? That's a range high on the lower time frame. Remember the blue dotted lines I did for Bitcoin? We'll consider this as that blue dotted line. Okay, there we go. So clear trigger plan. Usually once it makes one attempt, another attempt, the next attempt should hold. Okay, got a nice little trend line going around here as well. Break of it, hold, and that should be it. Target 1, target 2. Hopefully, if this gives a trigger at the same time as Bitcoin, based on Ethereum BTC, I'd rather go for Ethereum long over Bitcoin. Does that make sense? Yep. So that would be target 1, target 2. Extended targets would be what? Do the same thing again. If it does bust through it, take the high to the low. Mark out your 1.27 to your 1.618 and 2%. Okay, I don't know how high it's gonna go, but obviously with just price action, we got the 14, whatever the high is. Okay, did I get 1400? Yeah, that's the all-time high on this feed unless I drew it wrong. But at 14.20 I'm Bitfinex, I think. It doesn't really matter, okay? And then after that we get the 1.618 and then that. Is that clear for everybody? Yes? Okay, we'll do waves, okay, as the last one. Let me get my waves chart out. And then we call it a day, okay? Main's gonna be doing it in a few hours anyway, so he usually covers more alts, okay? So you can check his feed out, okay? I'll get straight to the point with my ones, okay? So let's do a bit on waves. So if you look, okay, on the day, I really like this pair. I mean, if you look at fundamentally solid as well. If I post something, it's usually backed by XO. If you want to follow, if you want good fundamentals, XO is the main man, and Ricky the Irish. Those two are must follows. They're mates as well. But if you look at the feed and look at the ones they post, they usually are fundamentally they pick the best ones. Okay, I would pick them based on technical. I'm not a guy that looks at fundamentals. I use their skills. Okay, for myself to go with it. But let's look at this now. So yearly levels marked out. So this was a big consolidation range. Okay, now this was a deviation. This was a deviation, but the main level capping it is here. If I was to drag this to the left, you can see the importance of this level here as well. I mean, it's not clean, but you can see big support here. Okay, that's done. I'm just building the narrative. It's broken out. It's retested this area. Ideally, I usually like a retest of here, but that's the minimum in a strong market. Okay, so what do I do here? Scenario one is, if we look at it, it's not broken out just yet. So the level that's capping to the next to the upside is this level here. I think if this goes, then we're going to go really parabolic in my opinion. Okay, so we still got resistance here. This could chop. We don't know how long. This could come into here as well. So ideal scenario would be is if it did come into here and then deviate back above, then I think that's my long violation. Play it back towards the range high cap in the market, which would be here. Okay, now if I don't get that, well, this would be a nice breakout plan. So if it clears this, that would also be last year's high. But the key thing is, this is the level capping. Can you see that level? Resistance. Massive reactions off of it, even here. If that gets cleared, resistance becomes support. And that's when I think we fly. I mean, that's 2018 high. And then after that, all-time high. And then we're going to have to deal with that at the time. Now, what if we don't get that pullback plan? And this breakout plan is there for the future. Okay? Well, what I'll be looking for is work within the range then. So if we break it down, what we've got here is, okay, so this is the key level. What is that key level? Let's remind ourselves. That's a level that we had deviations before. So see that there, resistance, take that to the left, lines up with this key high here. Okay, big deviation, go back below resistance. Okay, and it's proven itself here as well. Can it happen again here? Yes, it can. There's no reason why we can't deviate, come all the way back into here and then go up. There's no reason why we can't do that. So what do I need to see here to give me a long, and what would be my objective? Let's do that now. So with that, I did cover this in the snippet video I did. So what I would like to see is a basic pattern, and this is similar to what I want to see with the FBTC like I showed you. This is the key SR level. That's that key macro level, okay? So if it comes into there and then deviates back above it and holds, well, if it's rejected and broken below, it shouldn't really be going back above it, should it? So you should all know my trigger plan by now if you've been watching my videos. And that's my long. Target 1, target 2. Why? Because we're still in a range. If it breaks out, then that could lead to a further upside, okay? But if it doesn't find resistance there, well, you know why. We're already ready for the breakout plan, which I've covered. Is that clear? Does that make sense? Okay, so I think that'll do it for today. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and in the comment section once the video is over with, message with what alt you like, okay? And I could cover those. I'll pick the best one that's performing well, or what I think is gonna do well, and do that. Okay, so hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys next week. Bye bye.